Hi, I'm Allison. Welcome to the Knit Smart video tutorial. When you first begin knitting, you need yarn and needles. What do you need next? Information like patterns and instructions. This video tutorial helps you identify the information you need, teaches the techniques you need to search an online pattern repository and an online library catalog, and guides you through the process of evaluating the information you find for its usefulness, completeness, and accuracy. Get out your thinking sheet and a pencil and let's go. Let's start by finding an online pattern. Rather than search out individual designer or magazine websites, I'm going to show you a resource that collects patterns from various locations and puts them all in one spot, Ravelry. Open a new window in your browser and go to Ravelry.com. If you have a Ravelry account, log in. If not, take a minute to set up a free account. It's very simple, and this account will give you access to Ravelry's huge pattern library and powerful search interface. Logged in? Great! Take a moment to think about the sort of pattern you want. Hat or scarf, lace, cables, or plain garter stitch. What size? Are you willing to pay for the pattern, or do you want a free one? Pull out your thinking sheet and write down all the words that describe your ideal pattern. Now click the Pattern tab at the top of the Ravelry homepage to go to the Pattern Library. There's our search box. This box will search all the patterns in the Ravelry Pattern Library. Click Advanced Search to access all the tools you need to focus your search. There's our search box again, with the dialog box to its left telling you which part of Ravelry you are searching. On the right, you see that there are over 10,000 patterns in the library. How will you pare that list down? Before you start typing anything in the search box, use some of those attributes of your ideal pattern to apply filters, also called limiters, to the results. For instance, you'll only want knitting patterns, right? You might also want to add that you only want to search for free patterns. Here I've added just 4 filters, and you can see how the list of results has gone from over 10,000 to 206. Try it yourself. Apply some filters, type in the remaining keywords in the search box, and hit search. Now look at those results. I wanted a free pattern for a striped knitted man's hat. As you can see, I got 27 results for free patterns for knitted men's hats, most of which have stripes. But are any of these patterns any good? Let's check. Click on the pattern name to go to its page, download it, and open it up. First, how useful is this pattern? Is it the sort of thing you would like to make? And more importantly, is it the sort of thing the intended recipient would like to wear? Second, how complete is the pattern? Does the author include a list of necessary materials, the sizes of the finished object, and a rating of the pattern's difficulty? Are the instructions detailed enough? Is there any contact information if you have questions? Third, who designed this pattern and why? Is the designer a beginner, or does he or she have lots of experience and training in design? Did the designer create this pattern just for fun, or is the pattern designed only to show off a particular yarn that a company wants to sell? Patterns designed to sell a particular yarn can be good, but other times they're not designed with the knitter's best interests in mind. Establishing the author's credentials might take some extra research, like visiting the designer's Ravelry profile or personal website. Write down your answers to these questions on your thinking sheet. What's the verdict? Have you found a high-quality resource that meets your needs? If not, go back to the results list and choose another pattern. Evaluate that one with the same criteria. Have you found a pattern you like? Excellent! In the first part of this tutorial, we identified the kind of pattern we wanted. We picked out keywords to describe patterns, used filters or limiters to focus our search, and evaluated the results, all using a search interface that looks for online patterns. Now, let's apply these search and evaluation techniques to a search interface for books. You could search out individual books at your local bookstore or on Amazon.com. However, these sources can be limited in scope and often focus only on the newest publications. To find a large and varied collection of knitting books, you need to go to a library's online catalog. Open a new window in your browser and go to your local library's online catalog. Mine is the Tempe Public Library, located at catalog.tempe.gov. Look, we've got another search box. This box searches the contents of every record for every item in the library's collection. Again, we want to make our search as precise as possible, so click on the Advanced Search button on the right of the search box to get to the page with the tools that will help you refine your search. Take a minute to think of what kind of book you want. There's a good chance the pattern you found on Ravelry requires you to use a technique you've never tried before. Will you need instructions for knitting in the round? Or are you unsure of how to decrease stitches? Pull out your thinking sheet again and write down some keywords to describe the contents of your ideal book. Across the top of the library catalog search page are a series of tabs. A catalog record is divided into sections, or fields, and each field holds one specific piece of information. The tabs allow you to select the field you will search in. Notice that there is a tab for a keyword search and another for a subject search. Aren't those the same things? Not in a library catalog. When you do a keyword search, the server will look for your keywords in all fields, while a subject search only looks in the subject field. Which is better? It depends. Let's start with a keyword search. Select the Keyword tab and type in a keyword. I'll use knitting. Wow, the search returned 351 items, and it looks like they're all about knitting. Maybe not, though. Sort your results by title and scroll down. The 9th result is a book about Mack Airport. How did that get there? Click the title to see the entire record. Yeah, that book is definitely about airport. But the Contents field has a list of chapter titles, and Part 2 begins with a chapter entitled Knitting a Network. How can you be sure to find only knitting books? Only search the subject field. Click the Modify Search button at the top of the page to go back to the Advanced Search page. Choose the Subject tab above the search box. Now is it time to plug in your keywords? Not yet. While Ravelry uses natural language to describe patterns in its database, libraries only use a limited list of terms or controlled vocabulary to describe their books. So what if your keywords aren't on that list? Give one a try. Start with the broadest, most general keyword you have. I'm going to try knitting again since that worked in the keyword search. Type in your word and hit search. This new page shows you all the subjects that are used in the controlled vocabulary list to describe knitting books. Notice that these subject headings describe a total of 343 books. Some are very general and are used to describe a lot of books, while others are very specific and describe only one book. Click on a likely subject heading. Write down the call numbers for some books described by that subject heading. Now that you've chosen some likely books, how do you assess them? Go to the library and look at them. Check out the table of contents in the front and the index in the back. Does this book even have the information you need? If so, go on to the second criterion, completeness. Are the instructions detailed enough? Are they accompanied by bright pictures? Don't worry if the samples are knit with strange colors. You can work with any yarn you'd like. Finally, who wrote the book and why? There should be an author biography on the back cover, and the introduction will often explain the author's motivation in writing the book. Does the author have lots of knitting experience? What about experience writing for beginners? Keep in mind that knitting is more art than science. Choose the books that work for you and put the rest on the reshelving cart. In this tutorial, we learned how to identify the information we needed. We used keywords to find patterns in an online pattern repository and subject headings to find books in an online catalog. We assessed the results of those searches, and now you've got a pattern you love and instructions to help you knit it. Don't let your research stop there, though. Go to publiclibraries.com to find your nearest local library. There, you can get more research help from a reference librarian, either online or in person. Visit knitmap.com to find your nearest local yarn store, where you can get more knitting tips from the yarn shop employees. Last but not least, what did you think of this tutorial? Email me your comments and help improve this tutorial for your fellow knitters.